And yet, in the midst of their grief, in the midst of my grief, they invited me to their Christmas dinner. And I appreciated the gesture, but Christmas with family, it's a thing. I mean, we all do what we do. And it's weird. It's maybe a little awkward to be invited into that because everybody has a way that you open presents and everybody has a way of eating dinner. I mean, we do. It's personal. And yet they invited me to be a part of it. And even though it felt a little awkward, I accepted. And I went. And my being there meant for them that the empty chair where a newborn high chair should be wasn't empty. And it meant for me that the emptiness my heart felt at the time wasn't so empty and wasn't so important to me anymore. And as we sat down for the dinner table, a part of their tradition was to have a gift for everyone at the table. And their 3-year-old daughter, Avery, told me why this was. She said, "It's family tradition. We get to open a present before we eat." And there was even a present for me that she had picked out. It's a little Texas Christmas tree ornament that I still hang on my tree. I wouldn't have gotten that gift had I been at home with my family and my way of doing things and my traditions. And it wasn't just the gift of the ornament. It was the gift of being there with them. People often say, well, when I come to church, I want to be encouraged in my life. I want to find help and guidance for my married life or my family life or my single life or my divorce life or my college life or my senior adult life. And that's not all bad. We hope you do. But that's not first. God is first. And then we together are next. And in being Christians together, that's where we get the hope and the guidance and the spiritual encouragement for our lives from each other. Before we are older or younger, before we are rich or poor, before we are male or female, before we are short or tall, we are God's children, and we need what the other brings into this room, into this community. How many of you all were taught about church using your hands? Will you humor me and do it with me? This is the church. This is the steeple. Open the door. And look, there's all the people. Now, I hated doing this as a child. I really did. And I would argue, I know that's hard for you to believe that I would argue, but I argued with my Sunday school teachers that that's not the way you should do it. Really, you should fold your hands so that your fingers are on top, because frankly, that's a lot more comfortable. And that's how you pray. They taught me that, and now they're trying to teach me to do this. It's like, no, you do it like this. And so they're like, okay, you try it. And so I said, here's the church, here's the steeple, that still works. Open the door. Yeah, that doesn't work. There's no people. And so you have to do it this way. You have to intertwine your fingers, and that hurts. I mean, isn't that uncomfortable? I always thought so. Maybe I was the only one. But it works. And when you open the door, there's all the people. All of them. 10 or so here, 20, 30, 40, 50, and they all have a place. And they need you. We need you. I need you. And not because I need a job, but because you are my brothers and sisters in faith. We need each other. God calls us to that. God tells us how to be that. We have to try to be that. The people around you are lifelines for you. Do you know that? I hope you know it. And if you do know it, I hope you ask yourself, what can I do to share that with others who might not know that? How do I help people understand that this is for them too? Did you notice what we sang earlier? We are God's people, the chosen of the Lord, born of His Spirit, established by His word. Our cornerstone is Christ alone, and strong in him we stand. Oh, let us live transparently and walk heart to heart and hand in hand. May it be so for all of us. Amen.